received a call from an inmate at the Department of Corrections. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up.
Well, hello there, zombie. How is life behind bars? Oh, yeah, yeah. I've seen some of those TikToks. They're pretty good at showing that people can make it after prison. Ah, yes, yeah. I saw your brother's video. That was very good, and hopefully everybody in that video is going to continue on in life. I mean, there's no guarantees, but it's a very good thing that they're showing TikTok viewers, which are usually young, that you can make a mistake, go to prison, get out, and not go back and continue to move forward. Well, that's good because there are a lot of resources, and there was I was watching a news broadcast, and they were talking about where they had the victims that were allowed to speak to the judge after the defendant was convicted. And they were mentioning that there was all these programs that were available, and this person partook in them and did well, and then still went out. That we did everything we could to help this person, and it didn't really matter. And that, I hope, just relates to that particular situation because, yes, it's true. We could offer the world to somebody, but if these people don't uh, take part in it, and if they don't put forth the effort to succeed, then it's not going to work. And that is true. That's something that we've been telling people for years. I can't prevent people from committing crimes, but I don't want to go to bed at night having at least not tried, because that's a guarantee failure. If you don't try, you're going to fail. And and with these resources, at least we're trying. And if the people can make the best out of them, they're going to get out and they're going to succeed. They'll have some very successful videos. Maybe they can put a video on my channel. Maybe they can put a video on some other social media forums. And yeah, well, that would be nice to be able to make the videos from in prison. I think that would be a good program to do. That you guys could go into a room, do a podcast, or do a social media video, and even if it is highly edited, the if we can get messages from people who are incarcerated out to the public, it'll give us a different view of the world. We've got violent offenders that are being profiled on movies and documentaries and podcasts, and we don't want them to look like a hero, something that people will look up to, because young folks looking up to a violent person isn't going to have a good result. But if we look at how the community reacted, how the person
You have
was
60 seconds remaining.
tried, what the person did after being locked up, at least the people will be aware of how the process works, and that prison is not something that's a good place to be. It's not some place where you want to promote. And we want to give people the opportunity to learn that although not all crimes
You
are
have 30
solved,
seconds remaining.
most of them are. Good, good. Get the word out. Mentor your friends in there. talk to your family members. Let them know you still care. And you're at least making an effort to get out of there and never go back. Yeah, abstinence. Okay. Well, thanks for calling, giving me that update. And I'm going to reach out and see what I can do. Well, hello. My name is Joel Wilborn, and you are listening to AQS Inmate Call. Thanks for tuning in. This is a story about what I like to call returning citizens who succeed. They're actually making progress in their recovery, and they're on the road to never returning to prison, which is something we all want. We don't hear a lot about that. John Smith is an ex-inmate at the state prison and is now running his own business in the local town and contributing to local charities and mentoring young folks in school. You don't hear that much. Usually it's like this person was released early, committed the crime again, then went back. Or a person got out, sought revenge. Maybe a ex-girlfriend reported his abuse, which is what she should do. The court lets him out, and then he goes over and assaults her. That's the stuff that makes news. And then when people look back on it, it's like, of all the hundreds and thousands of success stories, that one bad apple condemns everybody. Now, I spend a lot of time on Twitter. And one of the tweets I read, and I'll read it to you here. In Massachusetts, they mess with you by taking your privileges away, even someone who is doing well, not causing a problem, so the correctional officer determines he looks too happy. Next thing, you have a dirty drug test for a drug you've never even touched. Wrongfully convicted and corruption continues. DOC. Now, those are the kind of stuff that interests me. If we hear the phrase, you do the crime, you do the time. Time doesn't include mistreatment, abuse, or in some cases death, or a permanent injury. It means the person is supposed to go to a correctional center, go in one condition and come out improved. Everybody who walks out to become a returning citizen, everybody who walks out into the free world should be in a better place than when they went in. And it's almost like a duh. If the court system or the state or the federal government can't do this, can't guarantee this, then don't lock them up. You're going to have to come up with something else. There's usually cheaper, more effective methods out there rather than locking a person into a prison where they're treated terribly and then expected to return to society in a very happy, healthy way. I really can't understand how people don't see that. They would rather take away guns from people who've never committed a crime or have no intention of committing a crime than to look at the folks who've already committed a crime and got caught, find out what happened, find out what can be done to fix any of the disturbances in their life that causes them to do this. Why is that not on the table? Why is it that other countries have less prisons than the United States? And why is it that other countries want crime to disappear? I think if people watch the news and they're looking at all these shootings that's going on and this high rise in crime, they're not going to think highly of the United States. But if it was backed up with, let's do a special report on what we as citizens are doing to help them. When I do my interview, I'll ask folks, what can we as a community have done to prevent you to have committed that crime? And pretty much everyone is on the same page when it comes to community support. People join gangs because it's like one person was saying, there was a young man came in to a group of people, bought him a pizza, and he gave money from the change when he bought the pizza to the other children there, teenagers, and he won them over. And when a person comes out of prison and there's nobody there to support him, guide him, get him resources to get back on his feet, provide a job or a home, if there's nobody there to do that, they're ripe for the picking for gang members and people who are looking for associates for crimes. It's just set up for that. Now, what if when people go to the probation office, there's a massive amount of resources available and guidance, kind of like a coach, a life coach. And if the person isn't going to probation, we could set up a center that the person could go to and get resources. I know I picked up a woman from prison and took her over to a volunteer community service center, and she got in there and she was able to get basic toiletries. They asked her about medical and transportation, housing, and they even admit that it's tough. You walk in there and say, I just got out of prison. It's really tough. Yet, we expect these folks to survive. It's almost as if, you shouldn't have committed a crime and you wouldn't be going through this. But even people who don't commit any crimes, if you get a chance to get inside the mind of these people who shoot up schools, it's not because they committed a crime and went to prison and got out and didn't get any resources. It's because they reached out and there was nobody who was willing to listen. And if you sit down with a person who's just causing trouble and you present this question, if you had somebody you could talk to, if you had somebody who's been in the same situation as you that could just listen to what you had to say and offer some advice that these folks know work, would have made a difference in your life. And yeah, it would. And that's a very simple solution. Why is it that it's so difficult? Parents used to be the ones that did that. Parents, siblings, close relatives. These were the folks that were always around. But times have changed. It's tougher for the dad to take his son out into the park and play a game of catch, or for a mom to take her children to the park and point out the plants and the animals and maybe a little history or something. It happens, and these kids have a fantastic chance of succeeding in life. And success meaning they're happy, they're doing what they want to do, and they're not breaking the law. But those days, I guess you could say, are slowly dwindling away. We need to get this back. We need to, instead of a single mom who has to work 2 jobs, or the addict who just keeps picking up the wrong guys, let's try to work with those folks. Let's try to give our students, when they're in school, life skills. Yes, they need the basics. They need to learn math. They need to learn writing, reading. But if there's a little girl who wants to be a ballerina, we could teach her about that. We could show her some other professions. We could have folks come in and talk to her. Having somebody who is a returning citizen and who's successful go to the prison and saying that I got out, I had nothing, and now I run a community center where I'm the vice president of a small business. People don't want to see the big name folks that are successful, that write a song, write a book, write a movie, and become successful. That's, for them, it's like an impossible dream. But when they look at somebody that they could have easily have been standing behind in a grocery store, explaining how hard work, education, family support, community support help them to get someplace, that's great. We can't buy lottery tickets and expect to win millions of dollars. But we should be at least allowed to go to work with our children. That take your daughter to work day, take your have somebody come in and work with you from the family. I think that's great. And that's something that we used to do. Farmers used to work with their children, and mothers used to teach their kids about babysitting. So, when the oldest daughter reached the right age, she could leave them at home while she went to work or went out to spend some time with her friends. And we build that within the family, and we just need to get that back. And I really like to showcase that stuff. And that's why at my website, AmericanQuittingSociety.org, you can see some of the people sharing that information, showing how successful they can be. We need that. And I think we'll all be happier people if we prevent the crime rather than try to figure out ways to deal with what's already been created. Why go through all of that? Well, thank you for spending some time with me. And hopefully you'll be able to hug your family members, spend some time with them, watch a movie, and just talk about things that you've gone through. But most importantly, listen to children, listen to teenagers. And if friends come over for a visit, it's not always just to get things from you or bother you. It's sometimes just that you just want somebody to talk to. And it's not asking a lot, but it sure means a lot. So have yourself a wonderful day and go out and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.